What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to EP09. So, it is finally time to lay out my top 5 predictions for the men's open lineup. The top 5, I believe, will come down to the 5 that I list in this video. If you guys haven't seen by now, I made a separate video for 6th place to 10th place. I'll put a link right here for you guys. But you know, we've had some interesting developments that really shakes up that top 5 in this last day. Nick Walker officially dropping out of the Olympia due to the hamstring tear really shakes up that top 5. But honestly, for me, I think it makes these predictions a little bit easier to do. Nick was the mass monster in this lineup. He was the X factor in that top 5. I think the rest of the guys are just a little bit more comparable in a sense. And I think it is going to come down to 2 things. Number 1, who is bringing their best? And number 2, who is the most overall improved? So, let's get into it, you guys, but there were a couple of things that I did need to add before we look at the top 5. Now that Nick is out, that really means that everyone I have currently is going to bump up a place, which leaves vacant that 10th place spot. So, I'm going to fill that in this video as well, so I'll let you guys know, in 10th place, I'm going to put Regan Grimes. Regan is looking massively improved in the updates he's been dropping at less than a week out. He looks to be more shredded than he's ever been. I think he's honestly been working harder than he's ever worked. And since finding out about his various food allergies, I think overall inflammation in the body has drastically reduced for Regan. So the detail is really starting to show. I still think he needs a little bit more overall size to push for any higher than 10th place, but I do think that he's a solid 10th place in this lineup. So, as for my top 5, the absence of Nick also bumps up Brandon Curry into 5th place. Now, I'm not going to go into all the details about Brandon. I did that in my last video. You guys can go check that out. But I do think that Brandon will take top 5 instead of top 6. I'm not going to move him anywhere. He's going to stay in that number 5 spot. So with all that being said, that leaves us with my top 4. And I'm just going to get right into it, you guys. In 4th place, I'm going to have Andrew jacked. Now, there are some that have Andrew ahead of Brandon, others who say that Andrew can't compete with the overall muscularity of Brandon. But I have to believe that Andrew has gained at least a few pounds of muscle since the Arnold Classic. And I personally think that a few pounds on Andrew can really make a significant difference in his physique. I've seen the death face in some of his recent pictures and videos that he's posted, so we know that he's going to be coming in peeled. And I think his overall aesthetics and flow, as well as the other things that I mentioned, is really going to push him into that 4th place spot. It is time for Andrew Jack to finally get rewarded and get into those upper echelon of bodybuilding placings. Now, especially if we see the hamstrings and glutes really dialed in, the judges will see substantial improvement in that aspect alone, and I think he'll be rewarded for it. So for those reasons, I have Andrew Jack in 4th place. So, that brings us to our top 3. And in 3rd place, I have Samson Dauda. Samson is definitely bringing improvements to the stage. I think in both muscularity and in conditioning. His presentation, I think, is going to be the best of anyone in the show. The way he flows through the poses, you know, it really creates a new level of aesthetics for a mass monster that we really haven't seen from anyone like that before. There's an aggression to his posing as well that you really don't see from other competitors, but that, coupled with the speed of the movements and the accentuation that's created because of that, you guys know what I'm talking about. At the same time, I think those are the exact reasons that Samson could win the show. And make no mistake, he very well could. But I think Hadi and Derek are going to beat him from the back and from the side. And although Samson is absolutely massive, Hadi and Derek may look like they have more muscle per square inch since they're, you know, in around that 5'6" and 5'7" height range. Hadi is a great poser as well, I will say that. But look, like I said, I think it's going to come down to who's bringing their best and who is the most improved. And with all things being equal in terms of conditioning, I think that's how the judges are going to see it. So for those reasons, I have Samson Dauda in 3rd place. So, that brings us to our top 2, and I think we are going to see a repeat of last year's battle between Derek Lunsford and Hadi Chupin. So what is going to separate these two guys? What will be the determining factors that has one above the other? What are the judges going to be looking for? Well, they're going to be looking for the improvements, like I said. Now, when we look at Hottie, he did drop an update from the 8-week out mark, and he did indeed look impressive, you guys. The conditioning was there, the separations, the striations in the chest, the feathering of the quads, the thickness in the side shots, you know, it's all there. And last year when Hottie did take home the title, everybody agreed in general that it really wasn't the best conditioning that we've seen from Hottie. So I think that is going to be a massive improvement for him this year. But the big reason that I have Hottie in second place, I really think that he maxed out on the amount of size that he can pack onto that frame before the midsection starts to widen a bit. And the midsection, I think it does look just a little bit wider to me in this update. Now, when you consider Derek Lunsford, Derek has put on more overall size. He's improved his weak points from what we could see, being the size of the legs and the detail through the chest and shoulders. We are seeing more striations in those areas than we saw last year. And his back, well look, it was the best back last year, and it is going to be even better this year. And that's going to be a huge advantage for Derek. But, like I've said in previous videos, I am concerned with the separation in the arms when it comes to the front double. And his posing, I think, did need to improve as well in the front shots. So if you consider the amount of improvements that both Derek and Hottie have made, and you also consider their potential weaknesses, the question is, who is going to have the overall better package on stage this year at the 2023 Mr. Olympia? And for me, I think it's going to be Derek Lunsford. I believe Derek Lunsford will be your 2023 Mr. Olympia. I think he's going to look more aesthetic. I think he's going to bring enough conditioning to get the job done. And I do think that he's going to bring the most improvements of anyone else in the men's open lineup. So I have Derek Lunsford as your 2023 Mr. Olympia champion. Now, as always, I want to hear from you guys. Let me know down in the comments section who you have in your top 5. And guys, stay tuned. We have some very exciting Olympia coverage coming up. Make sure you subscribe and hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss out on a single second of the coverage. I'll be bringing it to you guys all weekend long. Stay tuned. This is going to be an Olympia for the ages. Anyway, that's it for me in this video, you guys. Thank you for tuning in to EP09. Be sure to like and subscribe.